Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CRM Analytics video session 195. So basically in today's video, we will actually understand about filter widgets. So we have a few filters, widgets like, the global filter, list filter, uh, date filter, as well as the number filter. Okay. Range. So in like it's known as the range filter. So we will go through each of one of those filters and we will try to understand the difference between them. Okay. So let's get started. We will move to Analytics Studio. We will go with the same dashboard which we are working on. Fine. And what I will do is I will click on edit. I know it's kind of uh, it's a scratch dashboard as I mentioned. Fine. And the whole purpose is just now just to learn what are the things, what are the widgets actually, and of course we will build some proper dashboard as we go on further. So for now, what I will do is let's say I bring a few filters over here. So this is the first filter. This is the global filter which we have. Okay. And check the data set I was doing. Okay. I was doing recipe data set. Okay. So I will take the same data set with which I was working till now. And let's say I just map something over here. For example, let's say industry. Okay. Let me create this industry. Now the list filter, what we can do is we can also map it. So let's say I map the same field over here. That is the industry. Okay. And other than that, let's say I go for something like date. Fine. So let me put the date filter over here. Okay. And since I only have the created, let me click on create. Okay. And finally, we have something called as the range filter. Okay. So I'm just clicking on the annual review. Now we will understand each one of them. Firstly, let's come to this list filter. So as you can see, this is the list filter which we have. Okay. Now this list filter being there, uh, what are the things which you can do? So here are a few of the properties which you have. Okay. You give the title, you have the count of rows, and these are the filter styles. Okay. So in fill, it comes in this manner. So this is the display style. We can use the fill styling or we can use the combo box. I will show you the difference. But as of now, let's understand like what is this list filter about. As you can see, we have all these options over here for this industry list, and I can select any one of them. Okay. For example, if I select agriculture, it's going to show me all the agriculture records. Okay. If I select apparel, it's going to show me all the apparel records. Okay. This is the way. Now, of course, you can change this kind of position. So here in the filter style, okay, you have this combo box as well. So if you go for combo box, I mean, this is how it will look like. Okay. So you go for apparel. It's just a visual kind of a change which you get to see. Okay. When you go for combo box. Other than that, now if you see, these are the widget style. Okay, I'm not going through them because we already walked through them. The onboarding I will explain you at last. But more or less, I think we understood. You can go for the field text color over here. So let's say I go for something like blue. Okay, and maybe here I can go for something like green. Okay, so just an example. Now if I see, it's basically showing us green over here. Fine. Uh, Let me choose on the darker side, although this is a scratch dashboard, but let me choose a color somewhere on the darker side maybe. Okay. So let's say I choose something like this. Okay, that's fine. Now this is about it. As you can see, like I'm able to choose all the values, and basically I'm able to choose single value. But let's say uh, there was an option where we can also go for multiple selection. So there's an option called multiple selection. If you click on multiple selection, it will actually help you to go for multiple selection also. Okay, so let's say I want to go for three of them. I can actually go for it in this manner. Okay, as you can see, I'm able to select agriculture, Apple banking, and I'm able to select in this manner. Okay, so you have this option of multiple selection. We will actually try to understand this one as well. Okay, anyways, there will be a complete new topic on broadcasting and facilitating. We will be covering all this thing, but as of now, just understand you can also go for multiple selection as well. Anyways, I'm clicking on single selection as of now. Now, if you come over here, this is the date filter. Okay, so that's about this one. Now, this is a date filter. Now, if you see, basically you get all the options to choose the date. For example, you can go for current fiscal year. Okay, you can click on update. We can go for the current fiscal year. You can go for the previous fiscal year if needed. Fine. So this way you can go for any kind of date format. And like of course you have all this date format, the fiscal year, the fiscal quarter, the calendar year, the calendar quarter, the calendar month, the calendar week, and all these records as well. Let's say I choose something like next 180 records, okay, or not created, we cannot have next 180 records. Let's say I choose last 180 days, okay. So I didn't create any record for the last 180 days. That's why I'm not getting anything. Fine. So for now, I will keep it as previous fiscal year because I'm getting data over here. And also you can do customization. So for example, let's say you want to choose for each of the year over here. Okay. So from the start of to the end of, like, let's say I choose from the start of 6 years ago to the end of 1 year. If I click on update, I will be able to see the records properly. Okay. Similarly, you can go for month, year, and week. Fine. So you can go for fiscal year as well as calendar year, and also you can choose the range as well, like what kind of date you want to choose, that kind of date range you can choose. For example, let's say I choose something from uh, maybe December, okay, or I'm not getting an option to select. Okay, these are all disabled actually. Fine, because I think I don't have all the dates over here, which is fine, but anyways you can also choose the range. So whatever range you want to select, that range also can be chosen over here. Fine. That's the thing about this relative and absolute. And of course, if you like explore much more, you will get to know it. So this is about the date where you can go for some of the exact dates. Okay, then we have the annual revenue. So this is like the range, okay, which I talked about. So this is the range filter which we selected. Now here you can of course select whatever range you want to have. For example, let's say I click the sum of annual revenue from, let's say I write 8 lakhs. Okay, so I write something like 8 lakhs. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's say I write something like 8 lakhs, and you can always click over here. So it will get filtered out. Either you can toggle this. This is one of the, or you can manually write the value as well. Okay, of course, manually writing the value makes more sense because you can give the exact one. Fine. So this is about the range filter. Okay. So as I explained you, like these are the different kind of filters which you have. We understood about the list filter. Okay. Uh, the list filter is like, you can actually give the proper query as well. Like if you double click on this one, this is how it comes up, the count of rows. Then you can map the particular industry. You can give the proper naming convention also over here. And this is the created date. Like in created date also, if you see, it's more like a lens view which is created. The lens which we are understanding, that kind of lens is getting created in the created. And similarly, sum of annual revenue also, it's more like a lens. It's just that we have given the bar length the sum of annual revenue, and that's how it gets popped up. Okay. Now the last part is the global list filter, which is this one right now. How how does it works, and what is the difference between all this kind of filters which you have? Okay, so of course here if you see, like you can select any value, that is fine. Okay, I'm clicking on apply and it will get applied. Okay, now the thing is that when it comes to global filter, you can also go for numbers. So for example, let's say I go for something like, or let me do one thing, let me bring it over here. Okay, and let me keep the top level as a global filter. Okay, so that I can explain you. So let's say I go for this data set and I choose something like annual revenue. Fine, I'm clicking on annual revenue, that is fine. And again I'm clicking on the global filter, and let's say I choose something like, for example, date. Okay, so I click on the date. Okay, now as you can see here, like, just remember this top three which I've created, these are all global filters. So I've created one for industry, one for annual, one for created it. And the below one, this is the first one, which is nothing but the list filter. Then you have something called as the date filter, and then you have something called as the range filter. Okay. Now on the industry side, if you see, we have this operator, okay, where you can actually have all this variation. So for example, let's say, you can write equals, let's say I want to go for does not equal, and I don't want to have does not equal. I want to exclude basically the agriculture and apparel. Okay. Now, similarly, you have other options as well. The contains, does not contain, starts with, ends with, is null, is not null. Let's say I go for is null. Okay. Just to show an example, is null. Okay. So there's no industry with is null. Let's say I write something like starts with, I don't know, maybe I will write AG. Okay. Let's say I click on apply. So it's going to show me the value. Fine. Similarly, you have this kind of, let me save the dashboard as well. Okay. Yeah. Other than this, then you have something called as the annual revenue, where also, you have this operator. You can choose like greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, does not equal, is unless say it is not null. Okay. Something like that. Annual revenue is not null. This is how it's coming up. Okay. And of course, this one is more like similar to what we had previously. Okay. The date, I don't see any difference. Fine. So you can map everything over here. And finally, you have this kind of filter as well, the date filter. Now we will understand what is the difference. So if I double click on this, I'm not able to get on the lens view. Fine. So you have something like this. You can go for global filters. Okay. And these are the styles over here. So if you go to this global filter widget section, you will be able to see all this kind of colors. So of course we can explore. Fine. And you can choose any of the colors as well. Okay. And under widgets also, you can make all the necessary changes. Fine. So this I'm not walking through. And again, here I will go something on the darker side maybe. Okay. So I get to choose all the values. And if you see, more or less these are same for others as well. Okay. You have this filter style, you have the widget, like even if you choose numbers or date, you will have in this manner. Okay. Now you have something called as manage global filters. If you want to write some kind of value. So for example, let's say I write something like, I'm just ensuring I write global filter annual revenue. So I can just do the changes from here. Okay. I will click on apply, and similar way I can also write global filter created. Okay. Global filter created date, and let's say I write something like 1 minute. Manage global filter, and we can make the changes. You can add the changes from here. So something like global filter industry. Okay. So as you can see, this is the way we can actually write about, and this is the whole thing which is working now. So one thing we need to understand is when it comes to list filter, okay, you can either choose any one of them, right? Or you can also have multiple selection, just like I showed you. If you go for multiple selection, you will have a checkbox. So when you go for a single selection, you will have this kind of circle in the list filter. So when you go for a list filter, you will have a circle kind of a thing, and if you have to choose one of the options, you can go for that. If you go for multiple, it will be more like a square kind of a box. A square kind of a box will be available as I showed you earlier, and that's the way you can choose when it comes to the list filter. Now the created it, of course, like you have all the kind of dates. Like here, when it comes to the date filter, you can only go for dates. When it comes to the list filter, you can only go for dimensions, right? So dimension means a mixture of text. Okay. So any kind of text which is there, you can go for that. And when it comes to range, you can only go for numbers. So as you can see, you are able to get that from and to, that kind of portion you are able to get. Now, how is the global filter different? In global filter, you can go for all the three kind of data types. So this list filter is only for dimension. The range filter is for only measures, or that is only for numbers. And the date filter, as the name says, is only for the date. But when it comes to global filter, you can go for all the three kind of data types. So you can go for dimension, you can go for measures, you can go for date as well, as I've shown you over here. Now, one more advantage is that here you have the operator as well. Under global filter, you get to choose this kind of operators, as you can see, which you will not be able to in a normal kind of a list filter. Okay. Similarly, in the global filter, you will get to, of course, you have that from and to, but you have other options as well, greater than, less than, equal to, all these kind of options you don't get to see in a normal range filter, right? And of course, the date filter is fine, which is fine, but it's just an added advantage on the global filter. There's no particular advantage I see particularly over here. Fine. That's the thing. And yeah, that is all about this video. I just wanted to help you to understand about the different kind of filters which we have. Okay. That is the global filter, the list filter, the range filter, and the date filter. And a bit of a difference on each one of them. There are much more difference we will walk through as we go through the sessions, but yeah, to start off, this is the way we can go about for this particular widget. So yeah, that's about it. I'm saving this as well. And yeah, let's meet very soon in our next video. Thank you.